Hey guys, welcome to another video. I wanted to talk today about medical marijuana and CBD. I have tried it twice now, once a few years ago, and I just started again about a month or two ago. And I bring this up because there's a lot of studies, more and more, about how CBD and medical marijuana can help people who have epilepsy. And I resisted trying it for a long time. In my state, it became legal, I think around 2016. So I started trying it, I think, in 2017. And because of all the anti-drug, anti-marijuana information I had received over the years, in school, in PSAs, just everywhere, there was so much of it. Maybe you guys remember or have experienced that too. And I think for developing brains, that's probably true, that it can interfere with the growth and development of your brain, so you want to be careful. But I think there are strains that are safe for that, like the neutral one, the CBD. Again, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not an expert, this is just my firsthand experience. A couple years ago when I first tried it, I tried a bunch of different types because I was told by the licensed doctor who gave me my medical marijuana license and the folks at the dispensaries that for seizures, you're gonna just have to, start out on the lowest dose and experiment with how much or what types of marijuana are best for you or work for you. And I was very cautious because I didn't want to harm my brain any more than I had. There's that information in my head from years of saying, don't do drugs, kids. And so yeah, I did some of it, but not a ton. And I didn't feel like it was helping me, but that's also probably because I didn't experiment enough with it or try too high of a dose. I kept it pretty low. I wanted to function normally, and I was afraid that I couldn't. So I stopped after about, I want to say 6 months, just trying it out. And then just this year, my neurologists have been trying to get me to take these other drugs on top of the ones I already have. And all these side effects were taking place and causing me to be practically dysfunctional. And so yeah, I told them I'm not taking this one anymore. It was an additional one. And they were suggesting another one, but the side effects that I read about were basically the same. Not necessarily that I would have had them, but rather than risk that, I wanted to see if the medical marijuana would work if I tried it, a little more bravely, as it were. So that's what I've been doing. There's two strains in particular that have been helping me. So there's one called Indica, at least that's what it's called here, and that one is supposed to really help you relax and calm down. And I take that just about 5 milligrams, sometimes 10, before bed, about half an hour before I go to sleep, and I just sleep so much better. I have really patchy sleep to begin with. And as you guys may know, not sleeping well can trigger seizures pretty easily. So for me, having a good night's sleep and a way to sleep better is amazing. So that has been helping me a lot. And then during the mornings, not necessarily every morning, but on several of them, I'll take the sativa, which is more energizing and helps you focus. And I take that because it's for me, it helps me feel like I'm breaking through the grogginess that seizures and anti-seizure medications, which are technically sedatives, cause. They really cause sort of a slowness and a grogginess, and the sativa for me helps me feel like I'm breaking through it a bit. And again, I only take 5 or 10 milligrams of that, so pretty low doses. But back a few years ago when I first tried, I think I tried the 25 milligram edible pills or something, and that was amazing. It's a lot, but I'm also on a lot of medication, so it doesn't surprise me. So yeah, those have helped me. Those have helped me a lot. And just recently, I've also tried the CBD, the one that doesn't have any THC in it, and it's just completely neutral. It's been difficult to say whether that has helped or not, because I've been relying more strongly on the other two. I've gotten into a good routine with it. And I didn't have any seizures since I've been on it until just the other day. And I think that's because I had a couple glasses of wine, like 2 or 3. And I normally don't drink at all, but it was Easter and I was like, okay, with family and stuff, might as well just enjoy myself. I don't know what I was thinking. I may not have been thinking clearly. And then that night when I got home, I had some caffeine. And I should have known better, because I've had this experience before. When I have caffeine and alcohol in the same day, it usually triggers a seizure. And sure enough, that night had a seizure. And so there's been some like neck pain I have because of it, and it was just so bad the next day. I couldn't function. So yeah, I highly recommend, if you're someone who enjoys alcohol or caffeine, monitor how that affects you, because I've noticed that has a huge effect for me. I don't normally drink alcohol. I really don't care for it that much. It was just sort of like a social thing, and I think I'm just gonna stay away from it now. I prefer caffeine. What was my point? I just blanked out. Okay. Yes. So I don't know. It was one of those things where you feel like you kind of jinxed yourself by telling everyone, yeah, the medical marijuana is working and blah, blah, blah. I haven't had any seizures, and boom, that night had a seizure. This is my hair. Okay. Yeah. So for my 2 cents here, I'm just saying, I think it actually does work really well. There's lots of recommendations. I believe there's a story about she was a young girl, she's probably an adult now, called Charlotte, who had tremendous success with the CBD. I think that there's some article called Charlotte's Web and like marijuana, something, I don't remember the name, but I know for seizures, oftentimes they recommend the CBD rather than the other strains. But if you're considering utilizing it and it's legal in your state and all that, it's worth a try. And for my part, I know being a little bit more proactive and a little less like scared of doing too much kind of thing has helped a lot, rather than being fearful of all the information from prior years, all that conditioning. So that's just my 2 cents. I hope it's helpful to all of you or some of you or whoever, because I still seem to be functioning normally and without too much like side effects or anything. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day or night wherever you are.